I'm Tamara Faber. I lead the technology group at Consumers Energy. That's a utility company here in Michigan. And my technology group makes sure that the systems that allow electricity and gas to flow to your homes and businesses work so that you can have heat and light and power and charge your cars and your phones. And when I'm not doing that, I'm also a mom, which feels like a full-time job. And I really enjoy volunteering with groups that get women and girls into technology. So visible, authentic leadership means to me, first, being willing to take the risk of having people follow you as a leader, because suddenly you're responsible for somebody's livelihood, or if you're in a nonprofit, you're in charge of their discretionary effort and how it's applied, and that is not for everyone. So you are now depending on other people to make things happen. Your job as that leader is to make sure the right things are happening. And sometimes it's efficient and it's completely appropriate to lead from behind, to stand in back of the stage and let others have the spotlight moments. But sometimes it's appropriate for leaders, especially women, to be visible. You need to step up and step out into that spotlight. We need to lead in a way that leaves no room for doubt as to who is in charge and who is making sure that the right things are happening. And for women, especially when we're leaders, that visible leadership offers both an additional opportunity and additional burden. The burden can be the need to work harder to prove that you have what it takes, especially if you are in an organization where the upper levels may be male dominated. But the opportunity is that we have the ability to show that women can succeed, and we have the opportunity to show other women that they too can achieve those levels of leadership. And so that's pretty cool. That's a good place to be. And that's also where the authenticity comes in. I would say that if leaders can bring their whole selves to work and make their whole selves visible, it's easier for other people to relate to them. And when other people can relate to you, it's more probable that they can also aspire to be in the position that you are in. So the whole concept of visible, authentic leadership might have a slightly different twist when you're a woman, but it's a great opportunity. My advice would be that many jobs are becoming more technology focused, but only about 30% of technology positions are filled by women. And that percentage has not been substantially growing, even though lots of people are putting a lot of effort into finding technology roles for women and getting women ready for technology roles. And what that means for women is that there's a lot of opportunity. If you want to do what I do, if you want to be in technology, oh my gosh, there are so many opportunities. For women who are just starting to think about the career, I would just ask you to consider that no matter what kind of field you eventually get into, those companies, those nonprofits, they need technology people. You could go into medicine, you could go into education, manufacturing, banking, transportation, it doesn't matter. They all need technology skills. All companies, all nonprofits are becoming more and more dependent on their technology. So you can learn technology, you can get that experience, and you can translate that into any field that you are interested in. It gives you great flexibility to pursue whatever you are passionate about. And I would just caution you not to think that if you want to get into technology, you have to be in a basement coding 24 hours a day and drinking a lot of caffeine. That is not always the case. If you're in mid-career and you are already in a tech position, I would say don't let the lack of women in leadership be a barrier. It can be perceived as a barrier. It can be hard to see yourself in positions where you don't see other women, but try to mentally reframe that to an opportunity to show what you are capable of, and then an opportunity to use the platform you've achieved to help other women up that ladder. I would say the last part, if you're already in a leadership position doing what I do in technology, like congratulations to you. Use that platform, just like people in mid-career, use that platform that you have as a leader to help others, men and women, get into those positions too. And then think about what you're going to do with the rest of your life as your career comes to an end, assuming that you want it to end. What are you going to do at that time? You have a lot of skills, you have a lot of life left, and there are a lot of organizations across the state of Michigan and across the country who could really use your help to help encourage other girls and women to get into tech. From what I'm seeing, the number one thing that we can do to help women and families recover from the pandemic is to make childcare accessible. And when I say accessible, I mean affordable and high quality and logistically easy. There's a couple of different components there. So in some areas of our state, there are no daycare positions open for kids who are not yet school ready. And if there are daycare positions open, they're unaffordable. And if they are available, a lot of times they are not within realistic driving distance for people to get to. So we have to double down on making sure that we have affordable, accessible childcare for people. And then when you think about the K through 12 system, a lot of schools are still waffling between in-person and remote school. A lot of schools no longer have the pre-care and aftercare programs that people were dependent on. And so that lack of childcare puts a lot of women in the unfortunate situation of having to either back partially or fully away from their jobs. And I think that creates a bit of a cycle because women are a little bit overrepresented in education and they're overrepresented in childcare. And so when they can't go do their work at their jobs, other people's kids aren't able to take advantage of those programs, and we have a bit of a negative cycle. And so the one thing I think, if there was one thing that we should be doing as a state, as a community, as companies, it should really be to help families with those childcare problems so that people can get back to productivity, back to their jobs.